Shit crazy out here in these YouTube streets, man. But you already know, man, we on the motherfucking AHA podcast. We don't care about none of that, man. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. I see the boy St. really going in on Maine, homie. I mean, it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? Because he got a microphone, too. And remember, man, this medium that we in, especially with regard to being able to impart stories or being able to share experiences through verse, St. Laz is in the right position to be able to talk his shit just like Maino talking his shit. You know, we live in a time now, man, where the content creator, you know what I mean, the political pundit, you know, the VJ, the video jockey has now have a platform and we now have a voice. You understand what I'm saying? So the rapper's gonna have to stand clear with being able to just, you know, like they saying, taking subs and shit at dudes. They gonna have to stand clear of that, homie, because now we got a platform and we gonna be able to give some pushback. You understand what I'm saying? I'm hoping this shit stay, you know what I mean, within the confines of it being fun. You know what I mean? Because the dude, St. Laz, is a funny motherfucker, man. I don't, you know, like I said, the more I watch the motherfucker, the more, you know, memory, you know what I mean, comes back to me, man. And I really do believe me and the brother crossed paths before, but he's a funny dude. Like, he's entertaining. You understand what I'm saying? I don't never know Maino to be no ranking ass nigga. You know what I mean, man? To say some slick shit. You understand what I'm saying? But some ranking shit, I don't know what, you know, I don't know Maino from being that way, but St. Laz definitely, you know, got people attention with regard to the shit that he pointing out to. And the way that he's doing it, he's highlighting other points that people were really paying attention to. You know, I was just watching 10 Toes Down, man, and he was talking about how, you know, he's shooting at Maine, but indirectly, I'm hoping it's so because, you know, like, ain't none of us too hard to find. You understand what I'm saying? But my thing is, you know, when he took the shot, man, he like, yo, the shit Maine be wearing. And that should be funny. You understand what I'm saying? Niggas shouldn't be, you know, getting bent out of shape over shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? Getting bent out of shape over shit like that really, you know, speaks to the texture of a man, homie. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, when we on this medium and who we are in our own individual selves, man, you gotta have thick skin, man. Because people gonna always come out and say some shit to disparage you, man. People are gonna always say some shit, man, and try to discredit you. You understand? And now we living in a time where people just make up shit to discredit you. So all this shit at this point is everybody into this shit done been labeled a rat in some kind of fucking way. Or, you know, a rat, a fucking booty bandit, a motherfucking snake, a fucking coward. I mean, that's all motherfuckers sit up here and do and label motherfuckers as that all fucking day. You understand saying? Being able to check the credibility of the accusation really comes from who the individual that's proffering that type of shit. You understand saying? And where did they get their information from? Because like I was telling y'all the other day, these niggas is devious out here. They found ways to make up paperwork to get stenographer printing and signatures on that sucker shit. It ain't today. They been doing that shit. But now that shit then came outside. You understand what I'm saying? So when dudes is having these paperwork parties and all this so type of sucker shit, you understand what I'm saying? They coming with joints. You understand what I'm saying? Me, I like to ask the question is, how was you able to get something that everybody else wasn't privy to? That's always my question. You know, because like, you know, I always reiterate, when I was in the kid, like wherever I was at, I was in the loop. That's just what it was. There was no place in the 26 years that I did prison where I was at and I wasn't in the loop. In the loop meaning I wasn't in position to do whatever I wanted in spite of me being in prison. You understand what I'm saying? And when I was, you know, in certain prisons, man, I done seen dudes do all type of devious shit when it comes down to the paperwork. You understand what I'm saying? One time I was in Attica, man, you know, and the porter came to me, man, and he was like, yo, man, the dude you be hollering at over there in 14 cell, that nigga not right, Tankhead. So I'm like, what you mean he not right? He like, yo, man, the nigga wrote a letter to the captain and told the captain niggas is up here putting pressure on them. We extorting them. We making them pay to go to the shower. He going in. So I'm like, what? I'm like, nah, no, boy. He from around the way, boy. He going for that. He like, yo, Tank, I'm telling you, nigga not right. He said, Joe, man, them niggas showed me the letter. So I said, who showed you the letter? He was like, yo, the lieutenant was making his round, and nigga pulled me to the side like, yo, this your company, right? Yo, listen, you got a dude on here snitching on what's going on. The officer that's the steady officer up here let me know that you've been his porter for years and you keep the company under control for him, so I'm giving you a heads up. Here go the dude letter. So now the dude, the porter nigga, is telling me that the police gave him the handwritten letter that the other prisoner sent to the captain. Right? So, like, look at the dynamic in that. Look how, you understand, saying, follow the chain of events or the steps that it went. This boy wrote a letter to the captain, said he was scared. Niggas is charging him to use the shower. They must have been raping him too, because the shower is 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And if they was making that nigga pay for that, that nigga was getting raped. Whatever the case may be. So now he drops the letter to the captain. The captain gets the letter and gets his stand to the depot security. He boomerangs it back to the captain. The captain pushes it down to a lieutenant who then goes into an investigation with the sergeant. The sergeant can get the letter and show it to the company officer, but it stops right there. Man, 2 days later, that dude told me that shit about boy in 14 cell. The nigga came back with the nigga handwritten letter, y'all. How the fuck the porter get the handwritten letter from the goddamn lieutenant who got it from the captain who had to send it up to the depot security who had to make sure he filed that shit and put it on record, send it back to the captain, send it to the lieutenant and the sergeant go on an investigation, show the company officer, now the company officer give it to the prisoner? Yeah, he may have exposed 14 cell because it was right. I read the letter. Boy wrote a letter. He know who I'm talking about. I ain't got to mention no motherfucking names. Out here in Brooklyn, he at home and all that old shit like this. Any old way, boy writes the letter. I reads the letter. But my thing is, even though I read the letter, my whole thing was, why did the police trust this porter enough, right, with his career in his hand? Because listen, y'all, that's that person's career in his hand. You understand what I'm saying? That's that person's career in his hand. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot write a letter to the captain and then the captain give it to the lieutenant who has to go and do an investigation and it ends up in the porter hand who's the culprit of the accusation. The boy wrote the letter saying that the porter was extorting him to get inside the shower. The police officer gave the porter the letter. That put that boy in 14 cell life in all type of jeopardy. But it also put the officer's career in jeopardy. And why would an officer trust a prisoner enough to put his career in jeopardy? Look at that funny nexus. Look at that funny type of relationship. You understand what I'm saying? So anytime you were playing on a playing field where it's leveled in that kind of way, you can't ever expect motherfuckers to keep it tall. You can't. Imbalance will make all of us fall. And that's how come we all do when we fuck around and put our hand in that motherfucking trick bag. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, you did this and I heard you did that. Man, fuck that. Yeah, what they going back and forth over is corny because fashion is a reflection of how you see yourself and whatever it is you want to get into. It's how you put that together. You understand what I'm saying? But I would rather it stay there than going elsewhere because we need not visit elsewhere. We already been in them places already. You see what I'm saying? Especially if you're talking in this regard. We've been in those places already. You understand what I'm saying? So what we want to go back there for? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, Maino, you know, he tell y'all who he once was. You understand? Saying St. Last, same thing. Brownsville never read, never will. He telling y'all that. You understand what I'm saying? But like he also pointed out, we are at a place in our life, man, where engaging it in any other way, man, would just be some idiot shit. Right? Motherfuckers got families, shit they trying to put together. You understand what I'm saying? Before law say, yo. You understand what I'm saying? And I think, you know what I mean? You know, as a brother to both of them and as an OG in recognition of both of them as I see them, right? Nah, homie, we use this platform to make this shit work. Tell these stories the way they need to be told. Taking back the narrative, man, because when other motherfuckers had it in our absence, they wasn't rocking it right. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, talk, because we sitting here, man, me and Shimmy was sitting, cracking up, looking at that shit, man. You know what I mean? The kid St. Lad's a funny nigga, homie. You gotta give it to him. You understand? You know, Maino on some dead serious shit. But Maino can make a nigga laugh too. I done heard, man, tell a joke or two. You understand what I'm saying? But I would rather for it to stay there, if anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's too much going on, man, for us to get caught in that type of trick bag again. Gangster rap era is done. You know, we dealing with drill rap today as we see it. You understand what I'm saying? Some people are saying that drill rap is done and it's over with. I hope not, because I like drill music. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like, the antiques that go along with it, because I ain't smoking on nobody. I ain't dancing on nobody. We don't do shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? Gangsters, you know what I mean? OG, you know what I mean? Official stand-up, man. We don't do shit like that because we understand the wisdom and consideration. You understand what I'm saying? Whether you like your op or not, whether that nigga violated or not, homie, a certain consideration you must give to the dead. That's divine law. Because if any of you read your scriptures, I told you before, it was the crow that marked the spot where Cain was supposed to bury Abel, homie. And that just been in the history of man through whatever religion, whatever type of spirituality. It has been a custom of man to bury the dead. And that is the consideration. We living in a time, man, where motherfuckers just so mean, but we know who did it and what did it, the Dajjal. That's what this is right here, the Dajjal. In Islam, you know what I'm talking about. This is the Dajjal right here. This shit is that. You understand what I'm talking about? And it gave us, you know what I mean, this false sense of self, this false sense of confidence to just come out here on this medium and spew all type of motherfucking bullshit, hatred, and mean things toward one another. That's what this medium did right here. You understand what I'm saying? So being on it, make sure before you even step to it, that skin is thick like motherfucking cement, homie. Because they gonna be coming. You got the trolls, you got the people who project, and you just got the haters, man. I done seen a motherfucker come up here with a cookie recipe, man, and get shot all that. Oh, you put too much sugar. Oh, you stole this. Oh, that's the copyright. Oh, you a bird. Oh, you think your mother sucked my dick. And where the fuck that come from over talking about baking some fucking cookies? Tough people don't get down like that. People with fortitude don't get down like that. People with decency don't get down like that. But those are the things that are few and far between right here on this medium. Unfortunately, we here. And like I started off, so shall it continue. We back to take this narrative and tell it from our point of view. You understand what I'm saying? I give shouts out to St. Lad's and the L Bill. You already know what it is, homie. You know what I mean? It ain't about to throw a pound to the death. That's just what it is. But keep this shit in good jest, homie. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I know I ain't say nothing wrong. I'ma leave it right there. Yo, look, YouTube don't write for me and none of that, man. They just give me some space to have some space so I can show some face, to talk my shit. But until then, go for the win, man. I'ma holler at y'all later. You all